Good morning. It is 1:02, and I'll call the March 20th, 25 Planning Board meeting to order. Vice Chair Bailey is here. Commissioner Washington, can you hear us? Commissioner Giraldo?
I'm here.
I'm here as well, and let's give Commissioner Washington a second to make sure we acknowledge her for our roll call. Anybody want to play?
Oh, she doesn't have the link.
For the day? What?
She doesn't have the link.
It doesn't have the links.
Okay, so let's keep going, and because we have a quorum in any case. I want to remind folks that the deadline for all participant pre-registration for all submission of materials was 12 noon on the Tuesday before this planning board meeting. And of course, registered speakers can join by looking at the link provided in the email. And if you wish to speak or become a person of record, you can use our online web form or show up here in our meeting. In addition to our commissioners, we're joined by our senior counsel, Ms. Coleman, Delisa Coleman.
Good afternoon.
We have Justin Jones, our planning board administrator, and Joe Parsons, our senior technical hearing writer. Thank you for all of your help. Ms. Connor is our acting development review division chief.
Afternoon.
And we have Mr. Flanagan, Mr. Tron, and all the folks who are helping us with technology as we go through this transition from virtual to hybrid. And I really want to commend the team for all the great work that they're doing. Thank you. Before we move, we're going to take the order of cases in the way they're listed on the agenda. Before we do that, though, I just have one administrative item. We have a interesting promotion piece that I wanted to share. We are very, very proud of the dynamic work of the planning department across the county. And I want to present the department's new feature video, which shows the team in action. Really, big shout out to the team. So if we can take a second and staff, if you can put that up and we can all take a look at it.
I'm Lakeisha Hall, the Planning Director of Prince George's County Planning Department. The Planning Department is part of the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission, a bi-county agency that oversees land use, planning, and parks in Prince George's and Montgomery counties. The Prince George's County Planning Department's mission is to promote economic vitality, environmental sustainability, design excellence, and quality development that promotes healthy lifestyles in Prince George's County. We have an award-winning team of professional planners and practitioners. Together with residents, community partners, and elected officials, we play an interactive role in shaping thriving communities throughout Prince George's County. Prince George's County consists of 498 square miles and has 27 incorporated municipalities with a population that is approaching 1 million residents. The Planning Department's strategic direction is guided by the people, the placemaking, the projects we work on, and our partnerships. Plan Prince George's 2035 is our adopted general plan for Prince George's County, provides the framework, and is designed to engage current and future residents in the creation of dynamic, sustainable, and desirable places for the future. Our plan's growth policy includes established communities, regional transit districts, employment areas, local centers, and rural and agricultural areas. We envision strong, sustainable, and healthy communities, a competitive, innovative, and adaptive economy, vibrant and walkable mixed-use centers, quality open space, restored ecosystems, and iconic destinations. We are the Prince George's County Planning Department, and we are here to serve you, Prince George's County.
I'm looking for Peter.
Thank you. Probably just want to get an opportunity to make sure we all saw that and for the public to see it too. And it's going to be fairly widely distributed. So folks can learn more about us and they feel very much invited into our process. So thanks. Good work, team. Well done on that. So we'll move on to our next administrative item. I'd look for a motion to approve the draft minutes for March 13.
Motion to approve draft minutes.
Second.
Got a motion by Vice Chair Bailey, a second by Commissioner Giraldo with no discussion. I'll call the roll. Vice Chair Bailey.
What I?
Commissioner Giraldo.
I vote aye.
Uh-oh.
Commissioner Washington votes aye.
Commissioner Washington is here, for the record, and she votes aye. And hold on. It's your order.
That's all.
All right, we'll keep going. Where was I? Anyone? Commissioner
You-
Washington, yes, I vote aye as well. The ayes have it. 4-0. Are we caught up, Ms. Coleman? Did you get that right? Okay, thank you. All right, we'll move on to item 3A on our agenda. This is legislative updates and approval. We have Ms. Borden or Ms. Falcon Colbert who's going to give this presentation. Take it away.
Yes, good morning, good afternoon, actually, Chair Shapiro and members of the Planning Board. For the record, my name is Jordan Balcom Colbert, Government Affairs Liaison for the Commission. We have just one matter for you this afternoon, which started out as informational, but the Montgomery County Planning Board voted to support this bill. It's HB 489, SB 436, Department of Labor study on buildings code requirements and single staircase buildings. This bill is sponsored by Delegate Stewart in the House and Senator Walt Stryker in the Senate. Both versions have passed their respective chambers. Again, this bill requires the Department of Labor to actually conduct the study and make recommendations regarding the building code requirements. Among other things, this task force would be required to make legislative and regulatory recommendations, including potential amendments to the Maryland Building Performance Standards and to authorize the construction of single staircase buildings up to 6 stories above the plain ground in the state of Maryland for the purpose of increasing affordable housing supply by reducing barriers to multifamily housing developments. It's important to note that amendments to the Senate version of this bill include adding members to the list of those that need to be consulted, which is like firefighter associations, Maryland fire chiefs, and other similar rescue organizations. And then they also added Maryland nonprofit organization that advocates for safety and affordable housing. This bill is supported by the Maryland business industry and several other organizations, and I will be looking for a vote to support this bill.
Thank you, Ms. Falcon Colbert. Colleagues, any questions for staff on this item?
No questions. I just think it's a very timely study to be undertaken.
Thank you. I would concur. If there's no further discussion on this, I'd look for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to support HB 489 and companion Senate Bill 436.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Washington, a second by Vice Chair Bailey with no discussion. I will call the roll. Commissioner Washington.
I vote aye.
Vice Chair Bailey.
Vote aye.
Commissioner Giraldo.
I vote aye.
I vote aye as well. The ayes have it 4-0. Thank you, Ms. Falcon Colbert.
No problem. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Next, we'll move on to item 3C on our agenda. This is a Parks and Rec item. It's a HARP easement purchase agreement. And we have Mr. Sun and team who will be giving a presentation. And if you all settle down, settle in, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, Chair Shapiro and fellow planning board members. For the
Mr.
record,
Sun, just hold on one second. I just want to make sure that technology is working. Ms. Commissioner Washington, can you hear Mr. Sun while he's talking?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay, so I just want to check. Go ahead, Mr. Sun. Please continue.
for the record, my name is Paul Sun, Land Acquisition Specialist for Prince George's County Department of Parks and Recreation. We are here today to seek approval of the purchase of a historic resource preservation program. otherwise known as HARP. We have Janine Nutter from Prince George's Soil Conservation District, who's the program administrator, and will be providing the details on this property. Next slide, please. Before she begins, I'll just give everybody an orientation on the property. The subject property is on the west side of Ashbox Road.
Mr. Sun, I'm sorry, I need to interrupt one second. Team, I just want to make sure that the planning board, that we are visible to the public, is that there?
Yeah.
You have it? Okay.
I don't think I am.
Okay. We're going to take, Paul, Mr. Sun, we're going to take a break just for a few minutes from technology. So everybody do some calisthenics or something like that. We'll be regrouping in just a few minutes. There's a lot of Parks and Rec folks here. Director Tyler, you want to lead us in a bike ride or something like that? No, all right.
There you. I think I'm on.
I'm turning off the mic, okay? We've resolved our technology issue. We're going to pick back up with item 3C in our agenda. Mr. Sun was just beginning the presentation on the HARP easement, and turn it back over to you, sir.
Thank you. Like I mentioned, the property is on the west side of Ashbox Road, approximately a third of a mile south of its intersection with Brandywine Road.
Mhm.
And just to the north on Brandywine, you'll see where Wilmer's Park is located, just to give everybody a reference for where this property is located. With that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Nutter.
For the record, it's Janine Nutter, the Prince George's Soil Conservation District. Chairman Shapiro, board members, thank you. This property is approximately 50.6 acres. It has cropland.
Next slide.
Oh, I'm sorry, next slide. I'm so used to Paul doing it. So again, this property is approximately 51 acres, and it has 14 acres of cropland and 30 acres of woodland and approximately 3 acres of pasture. It has 2 dwellings on it, and it has about 43 acres of class 1 through 4 soils. The primary farming operation is cows, pasture, and hay, and it is owner operated, and it is contiguous to a prior preserved property, an MET easement. And if or when preserved, then they'll have a total contiguous area of 122 acres. Next slide, please. This is the example of the ranking, and it talks about the points that the landowner received. The landowner gets points for the size of the property. They get points for the contiguity of it. There's points here because it is off of a county road. Next slide, please. It gets points because it is a working family farm. It's points because of the soil capability classifications. And again, it gets points for the size. Next slide, please. It's located within a designated priority preservation area, so it'll get some additional points there. And it also is in the within a regulated area, so it gets points for that. So all totaled, this property has received 75 points in the ranking. Next slide, please. This property was appraised in February of 2024, and the average appraisal value was $6,815.35 per acre. When we subtract 2 acres from the total 50.6 acres, we get an approximate purchase price of $331,226.01. Slide. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you, Ms. Nutter. Thank you, Mr. Sun. I do have one quick question, but let's see if my colleagues have any questions for you all before we. I'm just curious more than anything, do we often, and it's appropriate to be relying on appraisals that are over a year old. Is that normal? It may be, I just don't know.
It's slightly over a year. We had to get surveyed on this property. That's why it took a little longer than expected. As you saw, the property is kind of very irregular shaped. The deeds that the owner provided were very old. So that's the reason it took over a year. But we're confident the prices have not changed or deviated that much.
Okay, thank you for that.
I have a question as well. Excuse me. So if we grant this HARP, will they be able to put solar panels on it as part of the agreement, or will that prohibit them?
Will prohibit.
They're prohibited.
They're prohibited.
Okay, just want to be
It
clear.
would be restricted to agriculture use only.
HARP easements prohibits any commercial enterprises or activities.
Okay, thank you. I want to make sure.
That's a good question. The prohibition, is that for the entirety of the property or a percentage of the property?
For the entire property.
Okay, great. Thank you for the education. All right, colleagues, if there's no further questions, I would look for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a
Second,
motion. We got a motion by Vice Chair Bailey, a second by Commissioner Giraldo with no discussion. I will call the roll. Vice Chair Bailey,
Aye.
Commissioner Giraldo,
I vote aye.
Commissioner Washington.
I vote aye.
I vote aye as well. The ayes have it 4-0. Thank you very much, TG. It's not a good to see you again.
Thank you very much.
Move on to our consent agenda items. Anyone from the public or any board members who wish to oppose staff's recommendations on these items or discuss them? If not, I'd look for a motion.
Mr. Chair, for consideration of the records items 4B and 4D, I move adopting the staff findings and approval of the items on the consent agenda in accordance with the recommendation of staff.
Second,
Got a motion by Vice Chair Bailey, a second by Commissioner Washington with no discussion. I'll call the roll. Vice Chair Bailey,
But aye.
Commissioner Washington,
I vote aye.
Commissioner Giraldo.
I vote aye.
I vote aye as well. The ayes have it 4-0. We have two regular agenda items. We'll start with item 5, detailed site plan DET 2023-005, Communicare Health. We have Mr. Bickle, who will be representing the applicant. We have Mr. Meng Sun, who will be giving staff presentation. Did I get that wrong? Oh,
Chair,
yes.
if I may, before we get started on this item, I'd like to introduce Ms. Meng Sun.
Now I feel better.
What I was trying to do.
She is a new face before you, the board today. She joins us with over a decade experience in urban planning and development, and we are pleased that she joins us in the urban design section as a planner 3.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, just to remind folks, this is an evidentiary hearing, so if we need to, if there are folks who will be testifying beyond the folks I've mentioned, we'll swear them in at the appropriate time. We will start with the staff presentation.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and Madam Vice Chair and members of the Planning Board. For the record, I'm Meng Sun with the Urban Design section. So item number 5 is detailed site plan DET-2023-005 for Communicare Health for development of a 33,000 square foot addition to an existing 45,034 square foot nursing home with associated infrastructure improvements. The application has a companion alternative compliance application ACL-2025-001, which is requested from the requirement of the 2018 Prince George County Landscape Manual for Section 4.7C13A, buffering incompatible uses regarding the buffer width along the eastern property line, adjacent to a historical site, the Epiphany Episcopal Church and the cemetery. Also, staff would like to note a minor corrections in the staff report. On page 4, section B, in the development data summary table, the existing and evaluated use says nursing home and single-family attached residential, and the residential unit should be single-family detached residential, and the dwelling unit is currently unoccupied and proposed to be raised. And based on the evaluation and analysis, urban design staff recommend that the planning board adopt the findings of this report and approve detailed set plan DET-2023-005 and alternative compliance ACL-2025-001, subject to the recommended conditions of approval within the technical staff report. This concludes staff's presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sun. Well done. Questions for staff at this point, colleagues? If there's no questions, we'll turn to the applicant, Mr. Bickle. You want to step forward, introduce yourself, any members of your team. If you have some things you want to add, by all means.
Mr. Chairman, good afternoon, board members. My name is Charles Shaler, not Mr. Bickle. I'm an attorney with Baker Donaldson. I had pre-registered. Oh, Mr. Bickle is here with Soltez. He is the planner. And with me, also, we have remotely members of Communicare. We have Holly Norelli, Amy Severino, Jason Kaminsky. So that is the team, and we are here. And just want to let you know we've worked well with the county on this project. It's taken a little while. It is simply an addition, a 33,000 square foot addition to an existing nursing facility. That addition increases the number of beds, expands the room for living space for our vulnerable community, if you will. It's infill. It checks all the boxes for what this county is striving for, using existing property and improving the surrounding communities. And as Ms. Sun had mentioned, we support the staff's recommendation in this case. And we discovered this one piece, the ACL piece. We have the existing Epiphany Episcopal Church as you face the building to the right, and everybody's coexisted there since the 60s. But the code changed in the meantime, so we wound up having to go through this buffering component, if you will. And so we're going to have a fence and increased shrubbery/trees there. We're here to answer any questions, and we ask for your support for this project.
Thank you, Mr. Shallow, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Just a quick question for staff, either Ms. Jones or Ms. Coleman. Any issues around swearing folks in and who's representing and speaking and things like that? So I just want to make sure we're doing things by the book. You're okay?
We're good.
You're good? Okay.
Forward.
All right. Good to go. Colleagues, any questions for the applicant in this case?
This time.
No questions?
I got one question. What kind of fence is it?
Solid wood, right? Solid wood.
Will it be painted, be stained, or?
I think given that we have single family homes to the rear, we're thinking natural,
Okay,
so at time it will turn that gray color.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Commissioner Washington.
No questions. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. So we do have somebody in the sign-up sheet, but I think it was an error, but I just want to check. Is there Luis Zagas? No? Okay. We have no one else who signed up to speak. I will turn back to you if you have any final words for rebuttal or close. I don't know what you'd be rebutting, but itself, right? Opinions about your testimony.
We adopt the staff report. We think it's correct. We support it, and we're happy to move forward with this project.
Great, thank you. So with that, I'll close the public hearing. And colleagues, what is your pleasure on this item?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adopt the findings of staff to include the technical corrections as read into the record by staff, and with that approve DET-2023-005 and ACL-2025-001, subject to the conditions as outlined in staff's report.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Washington, a second by Commissioner Giraldo. And this is on the motion to approve with the technical corrections as described by staff. If there's no further discussion, I will call the roll. Commissioner Washington.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Giraldo.
I vote aye.
Vice Chair Bailey.
But I
vote aye as well. The ayes have it 4-0. Thank you all very much. On item 6 in our agenda, this is a detailed site plan DSP 20003-04 Mill Branch Crossing Inline Retail. Mr. Gibbs will be giving the staff, will be giving the representing the applicant, and Mr. Meyerholtz will be giving a staff presentation, again, an evidentiary hearing. So if I need to swear somebody in, I will at the appropriate time. We will start with Mr. Meyerholtz. Good morning, afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the Planning Board. For the record, I am David Meyerholtz with the Urban Design Section. Item number 6 is detailed site plan DSP-20003-04, which proposes a 10,247 square foot multi-tenant retail establishment to be located on the east side of US 301, Robert Crane Highway, approximately 550 feet north of its intersection with Mill Branch Road. Prior to the March 18th noon deadline, the applicant submitted Applicant's Exhibit 1 as additional backup, which requests deletion of Condition 1D. Staff, Kenneth, if you could please go to slide 11. Condition 1D addresses signage for the site. Specifically, it requests that the applicant submit further signage details for review by the Urban Design Section as a designee of the Planning Board. With this DSP, the applicant submitted a signage plan shown here. This signage plan provides locations and maximum sign area for the multi-tenant retail building. However, details including illumination and the method of installing the signs are absent. Staff agrees with the applicant's Exhibit 1 that specific design message of the signs, i.e. the brand of store that might be going in, is not required at this time. However, staff wants to ensure that this building has a consistent design in terms of the types of signage permitted and the illumination methods used. Additionally, Section 27-597 states that no sign permit shall be approved until the application has been referred to the Planning Board or its authorized representative for review and recommendation. Based on this evaluation and analysis, Urban Design staff recommend that the Planning Board adopt the findings of this report and approve detailed site plan DSP-20003-04, subject to the recommended conditions of approval within the technical staff report. This concludes staff's presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miles. Appreciate it. Colleagues, any questions for the staff at this point? I do have one before we turn to Mr. Gibbs. Mr. Gibbs may be able to answer it as well. If you could just talk a little bit about the environmental features that are being proposed for this property. Related to whatever, solar, landscaping, energy, et cetera, et cetera.
Certainly. So the approved TCP2 for the whole of Mill Branch Crossing was approved under prior DSPs. This does not make any modifications to that approval. Additionally, the landscaping buffers that are provided for the parking lot perimeter landscaping, as well as the buffers for the buffering the parking lot screening and the loading area screening are in conformance with the landscape manual.
Okay.
There's also significant landscaping proposed along the border of this development and Robert S. Crane Highway.
Thank you. And are you aware of any other sort of environmental features around related to passive energy or anything like that? Or maybe Mr. Gibbs might know.
I'm not aware of that, no.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Meyerholtz. No further questions for staff. We'll turn to Mr. Gibbs. Good to see you, sir.
Yes, nice to be here, Mr. Chairman. Members of the board, Edward Gibbs, and currently with this is right here in Belleville. And I'm happy to be here once again, representing Mr. Chesley, who is the principal member of Green Branch LLC, the owner of Mill Branch Crossing. Mr. Chesley has weathered over 24 years of turmoil trying to get this project to this point. And he's very pleased to be where he is. He's very pleased to have the support of the city of Bowie, not just on the overall project, but also on this particular detailed site plan item. So this is probably the fourth detailed site plan for commercial. When you look at the project, and could we bring up the overall plan? Do we have that on a slide?
Yes. Kenneth, slide 9.
There we go. So we have substantial frontage on US 301 and on Mill Branch Road. And when you come off of Mill Branch Road, which is the southernmost access point off of 301,
you'll take a right on Mill Branch, you'll come down to a circle, and then you will go left on the circle. And well, it's actually technically a right when you get all the way around, but geographically it's a left. And that will give you one access into the project. The second access is via a right in, right out off of 301 at the northern terminus of the project. We have extensive road improvements that we're making. We're putting an extra lane on 301, signalization, turn lanes, improvements to Mill Branch Road, and then, of course, all of the internal roads, including the private road off of the circle on Mill Branch, which is called St. Risley Boulevard. That everything is private. And so the multifamily component has been sold. The townhouse component, Stanley Martin is developing and building the homes there. They're under construction. So those two were the subject of one site plan. When we did that initial site plan, we also included all of the commercial component because of the fact that all the roads were private. And we wanted to show the circulation and how it would work. And so when we went to record plat, we platted all of the commercial sections, which are generally on the west side of what we call the internal stem road, which is called St. Lola.
Which sheets would that be?
Excuse me. Sorry. I turned this off. This is a brand new phone, and quite frankly, I have to diverge here for a second. Because when smartphones were introduced to the general world, I didn't qualify for one, obviously. But everyone in my family had an iPhone, and I said, I just can't go that way. I just have to be different. So I got an Android, and I absolutely loved it. And my family kept saying, oh my goodness, you're the only one. You can't be on the family group messages. We can't send you videos. I finally relented. And so I've been dealing with this thing for about 3 months now. And they all tell me it's so intuitive. It's so easy. And I've come to realize that they believe it's intuitive because they started with it. And the Android is so much simpler. So much simpler. But in any event, obviously.
Disagree with you, Mr. Good.
Obviously,
Android is like another world.
And
obviously,
spending a pool of the iPhone. So
it's off now. Okay, back to the real world.
Where's the commercial? Which roughly what sheet are we talking?
If you look at the sheet that's up on the left-hand side of the drawing, that there's a dark line coming down off of that's St. Risley Boulevard, and then there's sort of a half moon shaped road going through the project. That's St. Lola, and all of the lots on the west side, because Lola runs in north-south direction, all of the lots on the west side are the commercial lots. We platted them all as outlots because you don't know at that time what user you're going to have, how much land they're going to need. And so that process, we used that process at Woodmore Town Center, and it worked out very well. And so as we come in, we have outlots, parts of outlots that are the subject of the application, which will, after the approval of the detailed site plan, get a new final plat, and the correct parcel will be designated on a platted subdivision plan that is recorded. So that's really what we're doing here. Now, this particular detailed site plan is our inline retail building, the first one. It has 5 tenant spaces. We have 2 commitments at this present time. We have Nothing Bundt Cakes, and they went into Woodmore Town Center a couple of years ago. They've been amazingly successful. And then we have Patriot Urgent Care, 24-hour urgent care facility. And we have 3 spaces that are not leased and spoken for yet. But those 2 are locked in with signed leases. Now, first of all, appreciate working with Mr. Meyerholtz. He's been a real professional, and I've enjoyed it. The thing that bothered me about condition 1D is that if you look, first of all, when it was originally drafted and appeared in the staff report, they wanted to review it for things such as style. And that, we can't do that. I mean, people are going to move in, they're going to have their particular signage. Some people have trademark signage, you know, so. But his request for the type of sign and lighting and mounting, those are eminently reasonable requests. And so I sent, well, we've been talking over the last day or two, and we finally got final word from our sign contractor that the signs are going to be individual channel letters lit from within, mounted directly against the face of the building, above each tenant space in the front and in the rear of the building. So I don't think Mr. Meyerholz had any concerns about number of signs, square footage that were allowed, and where they could be placed on the building. It was just when he and I were able to speak, we realized that the style wasn't really so much of what his concern was, but rather meaning style, channel letters as opposed to a box, so forth. And it really wasn't totally clear from our plan. So we apologize for that. I have sent Mr. Meyerholz about 45 minutes ago a drawing of exactly what it would look like. I do have copies of that. This is a public hearing. I'm happy to give you copies so you can see them. But I don't know whether you have rules of evidence that you're enforcing that are contrary to what a public hearing is, but yeah.
Let me suggest that we'll hear from Mr. Meyerholz, and I'm assuming that everyone's aligned. I'm not sure if we need to get in the weeds on that, but
right. And the second part of what concerned me about 1D is that they were requesting that all this information be given to staff, urban design staff, prior to certification of the detailed site plan. But by its own terms, the section of the code that's cited is certainly Park and Planning gets to make a recommendation, but that section of the code is within the total domain of DPI. It's the permit has to be supplied to DPI. All the information that Mr. Meyerholz is asking for is what DPI looks at when they approve or reject the sign. They definitely want Park and Planning's position, no question. But I had a problem just saying, I agree that you guys are going to determine what it's going to look like when this is a section that is within the domain of DPI. That was my only concern. Thank you very much.
thank you.
We have Kim Morgan of Land Tech, our civil engineer, and Jackie Plott, of Traffic Concepts, our transportation engineer. Everyone's available for questions, except Mr. Chesley says he's refusing to answer any questions. Just kidding.
Who's that now?
No.
There may be some questions, and actually, Ms. Coleman, I don't know if you have thoughts about the what comes before us versus what comes before DPI, and if I wouldn't mind hearing from staff and from you about this issue to see where we land. Do I turn to you, Ms. Connor?
You sure can.
Okay.
I think I'm in trouble if you're turning this.
Sherry Connor for the record with Development Review. The purpose of a detailed site plan is to supply the site details for development of the site, including lighting, signage, landscaping, all of those details. And it is under the board's purview with the detailed site plan to review those things, understanding that some of those do change. Such as the tenant, even after a tenant comes in, a tenant may switch out then their signage. And we totally understand that and agree with Mr. Gibbs on that point. And he is correct. What we're really looking for is the style of attachment, the lighting. And he did provide that, as he said, 45 minutes ago, but we do believe it is in the board's purview and is appropriate to place on the detailed site plan prior to certification.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. By the way, it's nice to see everybody. I just want you to know every one of you look younger in person. So we are. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, one question. Commissioner Washington here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so based on the discussion, and thank you, Ms. Connor, for your clarification, does that mean that there will be no change to condition 1D?
That's correct. Staff is not recommending any change.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And with our collective understandings, I'm fine with that now too. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Gibbs.
Thank you, Commissioner.
And Ms. Coleman, I did, if you don't have anything, you don't have anything. I just wanted to make sure that we were all sort of closing the loop on this.
Yes, well, Ms. Connor is correct in that one of the aspects of the planning board's review of the detailed site plan is signage.
Okay, all right, so it sounds like we're aligned on this. There's no one who signed up to speak for this. Mr. Gibbs, any rebuttal or close? You're good to go.
Nothing, Mr. Chairman. Just nice to be here again.
Thank you, sir. All right, with that, I will close this public hearing. And commissioners, what is your pleasure on this item?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adopt the findings of staff and approve DSP 20003-04, subject to the condition as outlined in staff's report.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Washington, a second by Commissioner Giraldo. With no discussion, I will call the roll. Commissioner Washington.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Giraldo.
I vote aye.
Vice Chair Bailey.
Vote aye.
I vote aye as well. The ayes have it 4-0.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. And I believe, Ms. Connor, we have no further business before us.
There's no further business. Thank you.
Okay, then with that, without objection, we are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Mr.
Have a
Gibbs,
good
it was,